Hello, and welcome to Wellbeing Wednesday on YouTube. Just a reminder that most of my output is actually on Twitch. You can find me on twitch.tv/SallyHP, and that's where I do two regular streams normally. Monday is Meditation Monday, when I either talk about different sorts of meditation or I lead people in meditations, either general or focused on a theme. The Meditation Monday stream I did this week was focused on the idea that we have this phrase, it's okay not to be okay, but actually that's a mantra that is quite hard to put into action. So the meditation is focused on helping you actually really be okay with things and accepting that sometimes things just are. Tai Chi Tuesdays are where I talk about, teach about and demonstrate Tai Chi Qigong, which for me is actually just a different way of being mindful. The movements encourage you to be very aware of your body and your breath, and they're very gentle and they can be done by anybody, even old crocs like me who've got arthritic hips. It can even be done sitting down. And although they're very gentle, they're very good for your heart too. One of my ladies who came to my regular class, I run a regular class on Thursdays, where invitations are sent out for that, which cost £5 a class. And she attended and she was wearing her Fitbit, and she sent me the readout for the time that she'd been involved in the class, and it has sent her heart rate well up into exercise. The Fitbit recognised Tai Chi as exercise because it raised the heart rate. So just because it's gentle doesn't mean it's not effective. It's very effective. But these Wellbeing Wednesday streams are very much more general. And I'll be honest and say I've started recording this morning, not really got much of an idea what I'm going to talk about. But the thing that's just popped into my head, and I'm a big believer in following things that pop into your head, gut feelings, things like that, is that certainly in the UK, change is in the air. A lot of change is in the air and it's very unsettling. And what I want to talk about is the fact that change is actually one of the only permanent things in life. Very often, if somebody has got a habit that they want to change, like smoking is the obvious one, they find it very difficult to break the habit. And they can't imagine that they can make such a big change in their life. They just can't imagine how life can change so that they can stop smoking. But the truth is that life changes whether we want it to or not. As anyone who has faced a sudden relationship breakdown, a bereavement, or a sudden, quite catastrophic diagnosis in yourself or someone that you love, will know. Because in the instant that the event happens, that the partner says, I'm leaving you, that you learn that someone that you love has died, or that you learn that this illness is going to be part of your life, probably forever, life changes in an instant. And what changes is the way you think about things. And you always have two choices about how you think about things. You can focus on what's wrong, or you can focus on, okay, this is here, but what can we do to still make things as good as possible? So to the person who is desperately trying to, break a habit like smoking, I say you can change in an instant if you look at it the right way. Because if you have a habit, that habit is driven by a thing called your self-image. Now, your self-image is an image of yourself that your subconscious builds up to try and protect you. Sadly, the self-image isn't always built on a right premise and needn't be correct. But if you take the smoker, their self-image is of, I am a smoker. That is their core belief. Now the thing is, you will never act in a way that does not fit with your self-image. So if you can change your self-image, it follows automatically that you will change how you act and how you think. Because if you think of yourself as, I am a smoker, then you're never going to give up smoking. But if you can change your self-image and say, I am a non-smoker, then suddenly smoking becomes impossible. Because all habits are driven by what goes on up here. Everything is driven by what goes on up here. And the truth is, there is no puppet master manipulating your thoughts. Well, not from outside anyway. There is an internal puppet master. That's self-image. And that self-image can be very wrong. And if you don't believe me, think about all those awful auditions you've seen for X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, whatever the talent shows are where your TV comes from. You've almost certainly, like me, seen some abysmal performances. And you think to yourself, why do they put themselves through it? Don't they know how awful they are? And the answer is no, they don't. They genuinely believe their self-image is, I am a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm funny, I can juggle, I can do magic. That is their self-image. It's a false self-image that's been built up by who knows what. But it's a false self-image. Now, if you've got a self-image of an image of yourself that says, I'm a smoker, I can't pass exams, I'm no good at interviews, I suck at life, I can't get into a relationship. That self-image is built up based on other people's comments, past experience. But it doesn't mean that that's you at your heart. And if you can change your self-image, you can change how you act. How can you change your self-image? By using your imagination in a more proactive way. And yes, it takes practice. If you want to break a habit like smoking, or indeed break any negative thought habit, whether it's I can't cook, I can't play the piano, whatever it is, you need to consistently practice thinking a different thought for 2 to 3 weeks. But if you do that often enough, it becomes easier to act in a way that agrees with a new thought than it is to go back to the old way of behaving. So if you can channel your imagination to create the image of yourself that you would really like to be, to a point where you can believe in it, then anything's possible. In a way, this is what I did in the NLP stream, where I got you to think back to a time when you felt exactly how you wanted to feel. So let's expand that technique a bit. What I would like you to do is to just think about the most magnificent version of you that you can possibly imagine. Whether it's you doing your dream job or living your dream life, I want you to imagine that version of you. I want you to make the image really bright and clear. And I want you to really get inside that person. I want you to imagine that you step inside that image that you're making of yourself. And I want you to notice everything you see, hear, and feel as that version of you. And really feel it. Okay, now normally that is a technique that I would do along with a little bit of guided visualization, bit of hypnotherapy to help you really create the image. But you don't actually need me to do that. If you truly know what you want, if you believe in your heart and in your gut, if there's this little insistent voice in your head that's telling you, do you know what? That's what you should be doing. You can, under the guidance of that voice, create that image. You see, you don't need me to help you manipulate what you're thinking. You don't need me to play little mind games with you, because trust me, you play mind games with yourself all the time. And all I'm trying to do is help you make the mind games a little bit more positive. So if there's something that you really, really want to do, if there is something that you really, really want to change about yourself, something that you know and believe in your core is right, then just spend a little time each day imagining yourself doing that. And not just pretending, not just imagining, really getting inside that image that you build so that you start to feel what that version of you would feel like. And the more often you do it, the easier it is to feel like that. And the more you feel like that, the closer you will come to that life that you want. Now, some of you are sitting there thinking, oh, she's just revamping The Secret. Yeah, I know about The Secret. I'm not a fan of it because that makes it sound terribly easy. Because according to The Secret, all you've got to do is imagine something and you can have it. And that is only half the process. What you really need to do is not only to imagine it, but to believe that you can do it, to believe that you deserve it. And it's that lack of self-belief and that feeling that you don't really deserve things that holds you back. So, I've often said this before, all our lives changed in an instant the moment that the pandemic hit, the moment we went into lockdown. Our lives changed in an instant. We didn't want it to. But your life can change in an instant in a way that you do want it to, if you are prepared to believe that you can do it, if you really deep in your heart and soul think, yeah, this is what I should be doing, you can use that belief to frame what's going on up in your head. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. And if something I've said here has really resonated with you, and you're thinking, oh, I'd like to know a little bit more about that, then please feel free to message me or go to my Patreon page. And it is possible to arrange one-to-one video sessions with me, which obviously will have to be paid for, but depending on what you want, the charge isn't going to be enormous. So if what I've said has resonated with you, then have a think about that. Now, before I close, I'm going to use my cards. I do psychic readings, I do I Ching readings, I do all sorts of things. To be honest, very often I Ching and oracle card readings are simply a mini life coaching session. So let's see what comes up today. Split the deck and we'll go with that card. Forgiveness. Now this is so apt, because very often if you haven't achieved what you feel you should be achieving, you're very hard on yourself. So if you're stuck in that situation, this card is saying, you know what, forgive yourself for being human. And if you've been trying to make changes and it hasn't happened as easily as you thought, you've made mistakes, forgive yourself for being human. Because the process is not easy. You will make mistakes along the way. It's not going to be as easy as just wanting and getting. You need to put the work and the practice in. And if you're practicing something, sometimes you will get it wrong. So this card is saying, forgive yourself for being human, but don't give up on yourself because you're worth it. Right, thank you for watching. If you like what I do on these videos and on my Twitch videos, which are and will remain free, but you'd like to give me a little bit of support, then just patter on over to my Patreon page, where for a very small sum each month, you can actually do a little bit to support the work. If you're interested in more one-to-one work, then there is also an option to do that, which would actually give you one-to-one session with me once a month. All done by video, obviously. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being interested enough to want to bother about yourself. Because if you don't bother about yourself, nobody else can. So stay safe and well, and remember, you matter. Namaste.